Oh man, so the market is continuing to bleed and it's been a horrible 24 hours in the crypto market. Bitcoin is below $35,000. Fantom, it's long away from the $3.14 resistance level we were struggling to break through, because now we're below $2, another 13% down today on Fantom. And what does this mean? I feel like I need to be an agony aunt today, because I've been getting so many messages in our Discord about people worried about what's going on. Like I said, a lot of new crypto investors and traders are born every single day. And for many of you watching this, this is your first time seeing this kind of a retracement in crypto. And I remember my first retracement. This is where reality hits, right? This is where it tests your metal. This is where it tests your conviction. So for a lot of you guys who've been watching me for many months, you would have been thinking, when things were easy, why does this guy keep talking about conviction? What's he on about? It's all green. Just like trade this pattern and, go to the top. We're going to be fine. Fantom's going to get to $5, right? Well, this is why. Right? Because unfortunately, the crypto market is the most volatile asset class out there right now. And some of the altcoins we're covering are a multiple of the volatility of that, right? So we may get excited and think, oh, look, Fantom's decoupled or this or that. But the reality is, the situation is we follow Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is considered a risk-on asset by a lot of the big institutional money. There's loads of leverage in the system, and for that reason, you can have massive retracements like the ones we continue to see. So what does this mean now? What does this mean? What can we see in the charts? Well, what we can see in the charts is that Bitcoin is now at 45,800, call it. And you can see here on the chart that we're just struggling for any support. Let me zoom out to the daily. And what you can see here is we lost this wedge. We tried bouncing off the wedge. The fake out happened. We got sent back down. This was the manipulation, right? Because we got this brief rally to 43. Remember, I said until we clear 44,500, we're not out of the woods. And then, sure as hell, we then got the throwback down, all the way down now, wicking super low here, guys, down to 34,000 flat on the intraday wick today. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of support at the 44,000 level, trying to bounce us back at that psychological level. But the reality is, I don't see any major support really coming in until 32 level. Okay, so I've got my eyes at the 32 level, and the reality is this could be a sustained downturn. And so we need to prepare ourselves and our portfolios for a sustained downturn, because there's no fundamental catalyst on the horizon that I know of or that I can see, which is going to ease the pain or help us reverse out of this immediately. And in fact, I'd even hazard to say that the macroeconomic situation, and again, I know a lot of you may not be fully versed with some of the macroeconomic challenges, but it's important that we understand this. Some of the macroeconomic challenges around the Fed, around interest rates and inflation, continue to show more worrying catalysts, okay? We know there's going to be interest rate hikes, tapering could be speed up, the rate hikes could be sped up. And these kind of worries in the market, not necessarily the eventuality of it happening, the worries about it happening can lead to sustained, few months here of a downturn. So we need to be wary of that. We need to look at some of our downward targets. Like I said, you got 32, and then the wedge here, which is where we got the bounce last time, is off the 30,000 mark. But obviously we wicked down to 29 before we held that level last time in the summer of 2021. So that's what we're looking at here on Bitcoin. And naturally, that's going to have an effect on some of our favorite altcoins. So if we look at Fantom, because I know a lot of you guys want me to just jump into the TA here on Atom, but it's important I prefix this with Bitcoin. And I need to hammer that home. It's important we look at Bitcoin. And that is why for months you religiously see me covering Bitcoin before I move to the Fantom charts. And here on the Fantom chart, you can see on the daily, we really did use up all of our extension, right? Remember I said we were super extended from our EMA ribbon? We really did use that. We had a big retracement down. And you can see currently where we're trading at now, we're 41% down, although the wick took us to about 47% down here. You can see we wicked to a low of $1.77, guys. So to think we were battling here we broke through the 314 level and created highs of 337. We went all the way down to 177 on the wick, although support came in at the yellow line here. If I zoom into, let's go to the 4-hourly. You can see here at the yellow line, support came in around the level of 179, okay? So we can see we got some support here, wicking at the 179 horizontal level here. If we lose that level, let me just clear this out of the way. If we lose the 179 level, we then need to be looking at 165, okay? So we can see we're holding at the 194 level currently. If we lose that, then back down to 179, which held up a couple of hours ago. and then 165. That's what I'm keeping an eye on the 4 hourly. We're clearly bullish on our 4 hourly. Okay, ever since the dump happened, we broke to the downside of this wedge with good high volume to the downside, big red candle to the downside, and then you expect yourself to reach the bottom of the wedge, right? So you met that price target $2.08, but we're breaking further down below as Bitcoin continues to fall. So we need to keep an eye on that. Let's switch over back to the daily. And on the daily, you can see we lost our EMA ribbon, okay? So the close of the candle yesterday indicated that we closed bearish on our daily ribbon. Now, again, another really bad candle today. We are now super bearish territory. You're seeing some support, like I said, around the 179 level, which coincides with your 200 moving average, which is your teal colored line, okay? So hopefully that can act as support for us and keep the price to the upside. But you can see the downward volume is high. This is not a fake breakdown. This is serious liquidations happening in the market right now, as you can see through the confirmation of volume. Now let's take a look at that. We've had 1 billion over the last 24 hours in liquidations, guys. 1 billion. I mean, if we just want to look at how much of that is, 383 million of that is just in Bitcoin, and obviously you can have a little share of 14 million, which is a lot given the 5 billion market cap in Fantom. And this is what happens, right? You get these domino effects of leverage cascading and triggering leverage positions in other people's positions, right? So you get this domino effect where you just need to move the price a couple of percent on the first move. It triggers a whole bunch of stop losses, which moves it again, triggers the next bunch of stop losses. They get liquidated, triggers the next bunch, etc., etc. That's how you get these massive 40% movements. It's not one whale selling, which is moving a $2 trillion altcoin and Bitcoin market cap by 40%. That's not how it works. It's the cascade effect of leverage and greed. And what happened in this market is people thought, that was the bottom, right? That was the bottom at 40. And they started loading in their long positions. They saw Bitcoin the other day, which we covered on this channel, start rising to 43 when we had this brief rally here, this relief rally. So you got this relief rally here, and then boom, liquidations. Okay, that's exactly what we had, and this is definitely an old man moment, all the way to the downside. And now we need to psychologically prepare ourselves, guys. If you've not been in this market before, you need to start listening to people who have and start preparing your positions for the downside that could incur, because this is a long period of time. Let's take our measuring tool out. So from the moment this crashed down back in May-ish time, before we got to some level of normalcy back up, let's call it here when it got back to 50, this is 109 days. Okay, guys? So call it 3 months. It's a long period of time, and it's difficult when your portfolio is in the red, particularly for the people who bought up here. And I know there was plenty of people who bought up here because this is when a lot of retail interest started coming into the market. They had to hold in this period. And the reality was a lot of the inexperienced ones didn't. And that is really why it's important to start building conviction in your plays. If you don't have conviction in your portfolio right now, please make sure, this is not financial advice, please make sure you're only holding plays which are high conviction plays right now, because this market can continue to retrace. I've said that before up here, and I'm going to keep saying it as we go down. There's still more downside. And if you're holding let's use Fantom as an example, even though we love Fantom here on this channel. If you're holding Fantom now sitting at 195 and you have no conviction in Fantom and you're going to panic sell if this gets to 96 cents, which, let's face it, if we lose the next couple of support lines, which we're not far off, we could be heading into this territory, right? That's the reality. Let's face that. So if you don't have the conviction to hold at the neckline of this cup and handle pattern at 96, shouldn't you really be selling now? Because you don't have the conviction, right? Whereas if you know that you're a buyer all day at these levels, then that's fantastic because you can continue dollar cost averaging, waiting for it to pump. And the reality is, if you believe in the fundamentals like we've been talking about on this channel, and look at this, guys, I have to share this, this glimmer of good news in these depressing markets. Fantom has just flipped Avalanche in total value locked. 9.65 billion in total value locked versus the 8.52 billion for Avalanche. And that doesn't include Paul 2. Okay, this is huge. We flipped Solana, flipped Avalanche, 36% growth in a market which is all tanking down. Now, I'm going to caveat this. I'm going to be honest. Even though I cover Fantom, I expect this to come down and call off slightly. We know Andre Cronje and we know Daniel Sester have asked everybody to stake in the top 20 Fantom projects and lock value in order to get allocation of their solid project. We know that. So I'm expecting once they've taken the snapshot of who the winners are I expect some unstaking to happen, and I expect this figure to fall down. But this is something we've been monitoring for a long time. So even if this fell by, a certain percentage, we drop a couple of positions down, that's fine. This is still ridiculous because 10 billion almost in total value locked when we're sitting on a market cap of Fantom of 4.968 billion, 5 billion. We are almost 2x right now. It's crazy. And when you look at the sheer market cap to value ratios, market cap to TVL ratios of these other projects, it's huge. We've covered this many times on this channel. If you've not watched me break this down, click this video here, which says the most important video you'll watch on Fantom in 2021. Make sure you watch that video because this is ridiculous. 5 times multiple on Binance Coin, 3.6 on Solana. So you imagine we start to command those multiples on 10 billion of total value locked. We're easily at a 30 to 40 billion market cap. Okay, 30 to 40 billion market caps, which gives you a 6 to 8x, depending on how you want to look at it, of the price we're at currently. Okay, that's putting you to $12 to $16 on your Fantom. Just back of the fag packet maths, right? Are we trending in the right direction? Are we holding the right projects? And that is how I build my conviction in some of my favorite plays. So for me, I don't want to tell anybody what to do. But anytime I see this, I've said this before on many projects, anytime I see us touching our 200 moving average, I'm in for the win. If we break that, I'm going in heavier without making my portfolio go overweight on any one given position. Okay? Very important for me there. And I don't just do this for Fantom. This is all for all of my projects, right? I'm looking at all of these. I'm seeing which ones are we undervalued on. If you want to see me do a video of that, either today or tomorrow, going through some of the top projects and listing which ones I think are over and undervalued right now, let me know. We can do that live. We can go through this and spend a good amount of time flicking through some of these altcoins and seeing which one I think are at bargain prices right now. So very interesting time for us. The message I want to leave you guys here on a Saturday is don't panic. Stay the course. If you've built your conviction, if you followed the process we've said, if you've built conviction, you understand your project, you've dollar cost averaged in where you're able to, and let's say you've run out of cash, stay the course. You don't have to average in. If you haven't got any money to buy the dip and lower your cost basis, stay the course. The last thing you want to do is sell from a position of weakness on red days. Okay? It may get worse. We may fall to 30. And I held my coins through these periods, right? When we fell to 29, I held my coins. And I wish I accumulated, and I tried to accumulate as much as I could. And I wish when we were up here at 69, I accumulated more down here. That's just the aim of the game. And the aim of the game is to manage your emotions, manage the psychology, because this will flip. The negative catalyst will eventually dry up. But I will caveat that by saying, I think the negative catalyst will get worse before they get better. We know what's happening with the Fed. We may get a speeding up of tapering. We may have a speeding up of the number of rate hikes, but eventually the market will get used to it. Eventually the market will understand that Bitcoin is super undervalued and we'll start to see the dips being bought up. Okay? This is the second time now we've come to these levels. And if we zoom out to the weekly, just to give us some context of where we're at, guys, if we come onto the weekly here, this is the picture we're looking at here on Bitcoin. Okay, so whilst this can look scary, until we create a lower low here on the weekly, this is still an upward trend. Okay, it was a higher high briefly. As long as we reverse before the 29 and we can create a higher high, we're trending back upwards. And then this will become a small blip once we then start running to 100k. So consider this, the market's way of flushing out the weak hands once more. We know the fundamentals haven't changed, and that is why, if the fundamentals haven't changed and you're seeing a broad sell-off everywhere, I mean stocks, I mean Tesla, I mean Enphase, I mean some of the best companies out there with high cash flows and really promising futures. Indices, the Nasdaq selling off. We're seeing a sell-off in obviously crypto. Then you can have conviction that, hang on a second, it's not my pick. It's not my pick that's doing wrong. It's just a wider market having a panic, worried that we're going to head into some sort of a recession or super rate hike environment, and therefore turning very risk off. And in that case, you need to play your positions accordingly. Hope you guys found this video useful. As always, if you want to see more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. In these moments of weakness, this is what happens, guys. I will do less TA and I'm going to do more psychology, because the reality is we need to see these moments through. And this is your first time. Trust me, this is nerve-wracking. This will test your mettle. You will be tempted to panic sell. So that's why it's really important. Any of those meme coins you've got in your portfolio, any of those coins in your portfolio which are just, one of those coins you accumulated in the bull run and felt like, oh, we'll be fine, I'll keep holding that. We need to get out of those. You can't afford to have plays in your portfolio right now which you don't have high conviction in. You cannot, because those are the ones that will retrace 90%. They're the ones that are going to make you go, what have I done? And they're the ones you're going to panic sell in. Hold your high conviction plays, the ones you've done most fundamental research on, the ones you understand, the ones you will not panic sell, and more importantly, you'll be more likely to buy if you had any spare cash. Hope you guys found this video useful. As always, smash up the like button and subscribe. Let me know what type of videos you want to see in the comments in these difficult moments. What type of questions do you have on your mind? What is worrying you? What is concerning you? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll try to address those in the videos over the next few days. As always, if you want to support this channel a little bit more, guys, don't forget to hit the join button. You can become a member of this channel. That is your way of giving back to this channel, but also you'll get access to our community thread. And in moments like this, you'll be able to head over into the community thread, which is for members only. Message me, say, what do I do with this position? What do I do with this? What would you do? And non-financial advice, I'll be able to let you know my views on those certain circumstances. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.